Welcome back to another video. My name is Nat, and today I'm going to share with you how emotional addictions are formed and how humans get trapped in feeling certain ways and in getting stuck in certain emotional frequencies. By the end of this video, you're going to know how to recognize those addictions, constructively engage with them, and most importantly, how to start gaining access to more joyful ways of being, and this way, moving out of the vicious cycle of emotional addictions. By the time people reach a certain age, for some of us, it's our 30s or 40s, but this has started happening more and more for people in their 20s as well, because of the collective awakening that's taking place on this planet right now. So by the time we reach a certain age, we start understanding some of the finer nuances of life. And therefore, we start to anticipate or accurately predict the emotional impact of certain experiences. That is, we know how certain experiences are going to make us feel. How do we know that? It's actually very simple. Whenever we have a certain experience, starting from childhood, the emotional signature of that experience is stored where else? In our subconscious mind. This emotional signature gets reinforced every time we encounter the same or a similar experience. So fast forward to adulthood, whenever we experience something or anticipate to experience something or even simply think about experiencing something, that emotional signature that has been assigned to the experience from way back gets triggered. And we end up feeling, by even thinking of an experience, that emotion that was initially the byproduct of that experience. So when we memorize addictive emotional states that trigger a whole set of chemical cocktails in our body, states such as shame, guilt, fear, anger, anxiety, uncertainty, and judgment, this memorized addictive emotional state, whatever it is, it's most likely a combination of things. It becomes who we are. It becomes how other people see us. It becomes, simply put, our identity. This identity, however, is a false sense of self. It's simply an accumulation of experiences, data we have stored in our internal processor as a result of external circumstances. We form this false sense of self layer by layer, emotion by emotion, reaction by reaction. And here's the most interesting thing. This false sense of self gives us a sense of identity in this world. We cling to it. And we will do anything to protect it because we use it to remind us of who we think we are. Without it, we think we have nothing. Without it, we think we are lost. So even if the patterns, emotions, behaviors, and emotional signatures in this false sense of self are self-damaging and destructive, we cannot contemplate an existence without them. We try to touch them, and our subconscious mind will do anything to protect them. It will distract us, it will divert our attention, it will make us feel extreme discomfort in order for us to abandon the effort to delve deeper and start deconstructing those damaging emotional signatures. That's how and why we develop emotional addictions. We do it because they give us a sense of security. I want you to ask yourself this. if you start peeling back, layer by layer, emotion by emotion, stored feeling by stored feeling, everything that is located and has accumulated in the subconscious mind, if you have easy access to it, which you don't, what would be there at the bottom? What is that thing that is left underneath that's not defined by all the external stuff, by all the experiences that happen to you? What is that thing that's free of all the emotional signatures, that breathes you and carries you forward? What happens if you strip away all the gunk, all the voices? What happens if you turn down the noise of all those things? What you're left with is your true self. Yourself, unadulterated by the stimulation of the outer reality. Yourself, uncontaminated by years upon years of conditioning. Yourself, without the need to feel damaging, addictive emotions in order to feel that it has an identity in this world. I know that abandoning who we think we are is extremely hard, and sometimes we don't even want to. We get by, and we make do, and we compromise, and we keep telling ourselves that we're fine. We temporarily destruct ourselves from the pain we feel from being addicted to destructive emotions by relying on our environment. We numb ourselves by buying things, social media, consuming alcohol, drugs, doing another facelift maybe, buying another car, seeking new thrills such as going to new places and doing new things. Now, I'm not saying going to new places or doing new things is bad. On the contrary, what I'm saying is that sometimes we use those things to numb us from feeling the pain of our shame, of our guilt, our fear, our discontent, and the self-doubt that we carry. Some start seeking bigger thrills because they become desensitized to the numbing doses of whatever it is that brings temporary relief from the emotions I just mentioned. So now we're addicted to both the emotional cocktail that we have running through our being and to the numbing methods we use in order to escape that emotion. Do you see? Sooner or later, unless we fall really deep into the addiction pattern, most of us will realize that those numbing techniques are very short-lived. We realize that nothing outside of us can ever make us happy. What this moment is our soul screaming at us, pay attention. Wake the fuck up. I'm signaling to you that nothing is bringing you joy. If you keep playing this game of numbing or external attempts to feel joy, you will go back to sleep and I'll see you when your life is over. Or I will send over a huge crisis, like a life-threatening situation or a disease maybe, that will force you to wake up. And that moment is when it is up to us to either take the call, get on the freaking phone with ourselves, and see how we can do some damage control. Today, I want you to know this. Behind every emotional or any type of addiction really is a memorized emotion that causes the behavior. So what we need to do if we want to break out of the misery of this memorized false self is unmemorize our self-limiting emotions that were caused by certain experiences. If you sever the emotional charge from the experience, what's left is only the wisdom you have gained from the experience. Get it? This isn't an automatic process. It may take time. It's taken me months to start breaking out of certain self-limiting and damaging patterns. You can't give up years and years of programming and feeling certain ways in a day. But I promise you, you can do it. How do I know? Because I did it myself. I'm not going to bore you with my own patterns of limiting and damaging emotional signatures that I unmemorized. We all have them, without exception. I'm simply going to give you some tips of what worked for me personally, and then it is totally up to you whether to start applying these methods or do your own research and find out your own methods. We're all unique and different after all, and there is no one prescribed solution for everyone. So the biggest catalyst for me was meditation. When you quiet your mind, and this isn't going to happen from one day to the next. And I don't even want to hear people saying, oh, I meditated for 1 week and it hasn't worked for me. If you're serious, apply yourself and start meditating. Do it for a month, do it for 2 months, do it for 3 months. Meditation gives you access to the operating system of your mind. It's an excellent way to start conversing with your subconscious. Start with guided meditations, maybe on YouTube. You can find my own meditation in the description box. You can start anywhere. Whatever feels right to you, just start. The path will reveal itself to you. It's amazing how things start revealing themselves to us when we want them to. Just start and be patient. The second thing is observing. It's going to become easier once you start meditating, of course. So observe your own behaviors and reactions, first of all. Even if you're not able to change them at first or influence them in the way you want, start observing them. It's huge. This is a huge part. This is a huge first step. Start noticing what triggers you, what makes you angry maybe, what causes an emotion inside you that isn't pleasant. Don't do anything at first. Just begin noticing. Be vigilant. Be on the lookout. Call your reactions out, but in a loving way. Don't point the finger at yourself because that will only accomplish the opposite result. When you move from unconsciously producing thoughts, emotions, and reactions and are able to consciously choose what you think, feel, and how you react, it will feel beyond liberating. And you will start tasting what true freedom tastes like. Because believe me, most of us live in the prison of our subconscious mind. And the worst thing is that we're not even aware of it. The third thing is do some shadow work. In Jungian psychology, the shadow refers to the unconscious aspect of the personality which the conscious ego does not see in itself. Or it can also refer to everything which a person is not fully conscious of inside them. It's beyond the scope of this video to explain in depth what shadow work is and how it's done. If something pinged for you when I mentioned shadow work, you can watch my video titled Shadow Work, How to Heal Past Trauma, if you feel called to uncover certain aspects of yourself. I will link it on the end screen or maybe in the description notes. Keep an eye out. Also, if you're meant to become familiar with this concept, notice how this term will start popping up for you. You might either hear it mentioned or see it somewhere on social media or come across it in the most unexpected of places. The universe is always sending us messages to be on the lookout. The shadow is an incredibly powerful aspect of ourselves, and shadow work is, for me, one of the most revolutionary, accurate, and liberating theories in the field of psychology. Just know that what these processes will do is they will start to make your brain work differently. They will start creating new neurons, which will in turn create new neurological networks. And what those new neurological networks will do is they will start rewriting the emotional signatures that have made up your old self. They will start creating new ones based off of who you are under all those false layers and what we talked about in the beginning. They will start signaling to the body and the genes to begin functioning in new ways. And that, my friends, is what I call change. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace. Other than that, I'm sending you love. Please feel free to like this video if you liked it, subscribe, hit the bell, and as always, may all of you be happy, may all of you be peaceful, may all of you be liberated.